To hold an old Indian coin is to hold a fragment of time itself. It is a small cold piece of metal, yet it is so much more. It is a direct link to a lost world, a world of powerful emperors and forgotten kingdoms, of bustling trade routes and ancient cities. These coins are not silent objects. They whisper stories if you listen closely. Stories of conquests and collapses, of faith and artistry. They have passed through countless hands. A merchant in a dusty bazaar, a soldier far from home, a priest at a temple, a king in his grand court. Each hand left an invisible mark, a layer of history polished smooth over centuries of circulation. The allure of these coins is undeniable. It is a kind of magic. Imagine a silver coin, worn and thin. It was struck in a long-vanished mint. Perhaps it was part of a king's treasure. Or maybe it was a family's entire savings, buried in a clay pot for safety. The coin survived when the person who held it did not. It outlasted the empire that created it. It is a silent witness to the great, sweeping drama of Indian history. This small disc of metal connects us, here in 2026, to a past that feels both immensely distant and surprisingly close. It is a tangible piece of a story that is still being told, a puzzle with pieces scattered across time. These coins are miniature monuments. They are documents of state, solidified in silver or gold, an emperor's face, a line of scripture, a symbol of a god. These were messages sent out to the farthest corners of a realm. They announced a new ruler. They celebrated a victory. They proclaimed the faith of the powerful. For many people in ancient India, a coin was the only image they would ever see of their king. It was the government in the palm of their hand, a symbol of order, of value, of a power both distant and immediate. The study of these objects, numismatics, is therefore not just for collectors. It is for anyone who wants to understand India's deep and complex past. The journey of Indian coinage is a journey through India itself. It begins in the mists of antiquity, long before recorded history. It flows through the rise and fall of great empires. The Mauryas, the Guptas, the Mughals. Each left their unique imprint on the currency of the land. The designs changed, the metals varied, but the purpose remained: to facilitate trade, to project power, and to create a shared economic language. Following the trail of these coins is like following a map of history. A map marked not with borders and cities, but with the faces and symbols of the people who shaped a subcontinent. It is a detective story written in metal. The story of Indian coins begins deep in the past. It starts around the 6th century BC. This was a time of great change in northern India. Cities were growing along the banks of the Ganges River. These were the Mahajanapadas, the great kingdoms. Kingdoms like Gandhara, Magadha, and Kosala. As trade between these kingdoms grew, a problem arose. How do you pay for goods? Barter was slow and clumsy. You needed something better, something small, valuable, and accepted by everyone. The answer was the coin, a revolution in a piece of silver. India's earliest coins were not like the coins we know today. They were not round. They did not have the faces of kings. They were odd-shaped pieces of silver. Archaeologists call them punch-marked coins. Imagine a silversmith taking a flat sheet of silver. He cuts it into irregular pieces. Then, he uses a set of punches, like small stamps, to mark them. Each mark was a symbol: a sun, a bull, a tree, or a geometric pattern. Each kingdom, and sometimes each banker or guild, had its own set of symbols. This was their guarantee. It certified the weight and the purity of the silver. Who made these first coins? It was not just the kings. It was also the powerful merchant guilds. These guilds, known as shrenis, controlled trade along the great rivers and roads. They needed a reliable way to conduct business, so they created their own currency. A coin with a guild's mark was a promise that it contained a specific amount of good silver. It was a system built on trust. This decentralized beginning is unique to India. It shows that economic power was not only in the hands of the rulers, It was also with the people who moved the goods and created the wealth. These punch-marked coins were a huge success. They spread across the subcontinent like wildfire. They made trade easier and faster. A merchant could now travel from one kingdom to another with a small bag of silver. He knew his money would be accepted. This helped knit the diverse regions of India together. It created a common economic space. These simple, strange-looking coins were the foundation of India's monetary history. They were the first chapter in a long and fascinating book, a book written not with ink, but with hammers and punches on humble pieces of silver. When the Mauryan Empire rose in the 4th century BC, everything changed. Chandragupta Maurya and his successors united much of India under one rule. A great empire needed a single unified currency. The old system of many different local coins was no longer enough. The Mauryas took control of coinage. They continued to use the silver punch-marked coins, but now the coins were standardized. They all carried the symbols of the imperial state. The most common was a symbol of the sun and a 6-armed figure. This was the mark of the emperor, a sign of his authority across the land. After the Mauryas, new influences arrived. The Greeks, who had come to India with Alexander the Great, established kingdoms in the northwest. They brought their own traditions of coinage. This was a dramatic shift. For the first time, Indian coins began to show realistic portraits of the rulers. The Indo-Greeks struck beautiful silver coins. On one side, you saw the king's face, complete with beard and helmet. On the other side, a Greek god like Zeus or Heracles. This fusion of Greek art and Indian culture created some of the most beautiful coins in ancient history. They were no longer just pieces of metal, they were works of art. The next great chapter belongs to the Gupta Empire. This period, from the 4th to the 6th century AD, is often called India's Golden Age, and the coins show why. The Gupta emperors issued a spectacular variety of gold coins, known as dinars. These coins are masterpieces of numismatic art. They did not just show portraits, they showed the emperors in action. Samudragupta is shown playing a harp, showing he was a patron of the arts. Chandragupta II is shown hunting a lion, a symbol of his bravery. Kumaragupta is shown riding an elephant. These coins were propaganda. They projected an image of the ideal king, powerful, cultured, and divine. The fall of the Guptas led to a period of fragmentation. Many smaller kingdoms rose, each issuing its own coins. In the south, powerful dynasties like the Cholas and Pandyas developed their own distinct styles. The Chola coins often featured a stylized tiger, the symbol of their dynasty. The Pandyas used a fish emblem. These coins were different from those in the north. They were often made of copper and focused on dynastic symbols rather than ruler portraits. They tell a different story of powerful maritime empires that traded across the Indian Ocean, from Arabia to China. The coins trace the shifting sands of power across the entire subcontinent. The designs on Indian coins are a rich language of symbols. Every image, every letter had a deep meaning. In the earliest times, the symbols were often drawn from nature. The sun represented power and life. The bull stood for strength and fertility. A tree inside a railing might represent a sacred place. These symbols were understood by everyone, even those who could not read. They were a shared visual culture. When you saw a coin with a specific group of symbols, you knew where it came from, and you trusted its value. It was a public message, clear and direct. With the arrival of different rulers, the symbols began to change. Portraits became a powerful tool. A king's face on a coin was a statement of sovereignty. It said, "I am the ruler of this land." The Indo-Greeks perfected this, showing their kings with incredible realism. Later, the Kushan emperors took this even further. Their coins are a gallery of gods. On the reverse of their coins, you can find Greek, Iranian, and Indian deities. You see the Buddha, Shiva, and the sun god Mithra. This shows the incredible diversity of their empire. It was a melting pot of cultures and religions, and the coins were a mirror to this reality. Words also played a crucial role. At first, there were no inscriptions, but soon, legends began to appear. The Indo-Greeks wrote their names in Greek on one side, and in local Indian scripts like Kharoshthi or Brahmi on the other. This was a practical step. It allowed different groups of people in their kingdom to read the coin. The Gupta emperors used elegant Sanskrit inscriptions. These were often poetic verses praising the king. One of Samudragupta's coins has a legend that translates to, "Having conquered the earth, the invincible one wins heaven by his good deeds." The coin was not just money, it was a piece of royal literature. The meaning of the coin also went beyond the political. Coins were religious objects. Images of deities like Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth, were very common. Having her image on a coin was like a prayer for prosperity. People used coins as offerings in temples. Sometimes coins were made into jewelry and worn as protective amulets. The coin was deeply embedded in the spiritual life of the people. It was a sacred object as much as it was a secular one. It connected the world of commerce to the world of the divine, a link between the marketplace and the heavens. The arrival of the Delhi Sultanate in the 13th century marked another turning point. The new Turkic rulers brought Islamic traditions of coinage, and this, meant a dramatic change in design. The use of human portraits and images of animals or gods was forbidden in strict Islamic tradition. Instead, the coins were covered in beautiful calligraphy. The ruler's name and titles, along with verses from the Quran, were inscribed in elegant Arabic script. The coin became a surface for the sacred word. It was a declaration of faith and a symbol of the new political order that had established itself in Delhi. Some sultans were great innovators. Muhammad bin Tughlaq, a brilliant but eccentric ruler in the 14th century, is famous for his experiments with currency. He introduced a token currency, issuing coins of brass and copper that were meant to have the same value as silver and gold coins. It was a revolutionary idea, honestly, far ahead of its time, but it failed spectacularly. People did not trust the new money. Counterfeiters had a field day. The economy collapsed, and Tughlaq had to withdraw the entire currency and redeem the tokens, nearly bankrupting his treasury. His coins tell a story of ambition, innovation, and disastrous failure. Then came the Mughals. They were masters of art and architecture, and their coins were no exception. The founder, Babur, and his son Humayun issued fairly standard Islamic-style coins. But it was the great Emperor Akbar who reformed the system. He created a unified and high-quality currency that was used across his vast empire. He built magnificent mints in cities like Agra, Lahore, and Ahmedabad. His coins were famous for their purity and fine calligraphy. He also experimented, issuing some coins with images of a hawk or a duck, a slight departure from strict Islamic norms. The artistic peak of Mughal coinage came under Emperor Jahangir. He was a great lover of art and nature. He broke with tradition and issued a series of stunning coins. Some featured his own portrait, a glass of wine in his hand. More famously, he issued a series of zodiac coins. Each gold mohur was struck for 1 month of his reign and featured the corresponding sign of the zodiac: a ram for Aries, a lion for Leo, a scorpion for Scorpio. These coins are incredibly rare and beautiful. They are perhaps the most sought after of all Indian coins, a perfect fusion of imperial power and artistic genius. Coins were the lifeblood of the Indian economy. They animated the noisy, colorful bazaars of cities like Ujjain and Pataliputra. Imagine for a moment a merchant selling spices from the south. He would receive payment in silver punch-marked coins. Then, he'd use those same coins to buy textiles from weavers in the north. Coins made these complex transactions possible. They were, in a way, a universal language of value. Small copper coins were used for everyday purchases. Just a handful of copper pieces could buy vegetables, a pot of yogurt, or maybe even a lamp for the evening. Silver and gold coins, on the other hand, were used for larger transactions like buying land or paying for a shipload of goods. The state was, honestly, deeply involved in the life of the coin. Rulers collected taxes in coin. Farmers had to sell a portion of their harvest to get the silver or copper coins needed to pay the tax collector. This forced everyone, even in the most remote villages, to participate in the money economy. The state also used coins to pay its soldiers and officials. A vast army and a complex bureaucracy required a constant supply of currency. The mints of the empire were always busy, melting down old coins and striking new ones. The circulation of coins was like the circulation of blood in a body, connecting the heart of the empire, the capital, to its farthest limbs. Coins also tell a story of India's relationship with the rest of the world. For centuries, India was a great exporting power. Its spices, textiles, and precious stones were in high demand in the Roman Empire. Roman writers, in fact, complained bitterly about the drain of gold and silver to India to pay for these luxuries. Hoards of Roman coins are still being discovered in southern India today. These foreign coins were often accepted in trade. Sometimes they were melted down and restruck into Indian coins. They are hard evidence of a globalized world that existed 2,000 years ago, connected by ships, merchants, and the universal desire for profit. Beyond the economy, coins shaped culture. The concept of value became abstract. A coin's worth was based not just on its metal content, but on the authority of the ruler who issued it. This was, honestly, a pretty sophisticated idea. Coins also feature in countless stories and folk tales, stories of hidden treasures, of wise kings and foolish misers. The mohur, the Mughal gold coin, became a synonym for great wealth. The damri, a tiny copper coin, became a word for something of little value. The language of money entered the language of the people, a testament to how deeply coins were woven into the fabric of daily life. The story of Indian coins is full of adventure. It is a story of lost hoards and incredible discoveries. For centuries, people in India buried their wealth for safekeeping. In times of war or unrest, burying your gold and silver coins was safer than keeping them in your house. A family would place their savings in a clay pot and bury it under the floor or in a field. Often, the owner would die without ever telling anyone their secret. The treasure would lie sleeping in the earth for hundreds or even thousands of years, waiting for an unsuspecting farmer's plow or a construction worker's shovel to bring it back to the light. One of the most famous discoveries happened in 1982 in a village called Amaravati in Andhra Pradesh. Workers digging the foundation for a new building stumbled upon a large clay pot. Inside was a treasure trove of over 1,500 silver coins. But these were not Indian coins. They were Roman denarii, bearing the portraits of emperors like Augustus and Tiberius. The hoard was almost 2,000 years old. It was stunning proof of the rich trade between the Roman Empire and the Satavahana kingdom of ancient southern India. The coins were payment for the spices and silks that flowed from India to Rome. The discovery brought a dry page of history vividly to life. Sometimes, a discovery can rewrite history. For a long time, historians knew about the Gupta emperor Ramagupta only from a single play. Many thought he was a fictional character. But then, a number of small copper coins were found in central India. They were crude and simple, but they clearly bore the name Ramagupta. The coins proved that he was a real king. He likely had a short and troubled reign, squeezed between two much more powerful rulers. The discovery of his humble coins gave a voice to a forgotten king. It showed how numismatics can fill the gaps in our knowledge of the past. These discoveries continue to happen. Every year, a new hoard is reported. A farmer finds a pot of Mughal gold mohurs. A fisherman pulls up a bag of Chola copper coins in his net. Each find is a moment of excitement. It connects the present day directly to the past. For numismatists and historians, it is like finding a new, unread manuscript. The coins are cleaned and studied. They reveal new information about trade routes, royal succession, and the economy of ancient times. The earth beneath India is a vast museum, and we have only just begun to uncover its secrets. The next great discovery could happen tomorrow. The fascination with Indian coins is not confined to India. It is honestly a global passion. Collectors from all over the world are drawn to the immense variety and deep history of Indian numismatics. In cities like London, New York, and Chicago, there are dedicated communities of collectors who specialize in Indian coins. They attend auctions, trade with dealers, and meticulously study their collections. For them, a small silver coin from the Gupta period is as precious as a painting by a great master. It is a piece of world history, a miniature work of art that tells a story of a distant and magnificent civilization. The interest in America has a long history. It began in the 19th century, as American scholars and missionaries traveled to India. They became fascinated by the country's ancient past. They started collecting coins as souvenirs and as objects of study. Institutions like the American Numismatic Society in New York began to build impressive collections of Indian coins. These collections became important resources for research. They allowed scholars in America to study Indian history without ever leaving the country. The coins were ambassadors of Indian culture, introducing its rich heritage to a new audience. In recent decades, this interest has exploded. The Indian diaspora has played a big role. As people of Indian origin settled in America and other countries, they sought connections to their heritage. Collecting coins became a way to connect with the history and culture of their ancestors. For a second or third generation Indian American, holding a coin of the Chola king Rajaraja is a tangible link to their roots. It is a way of owning a piece of the story they came from. This has created a vibrant new market for Indian coins, with demand growing every year. The internet has transformed the world of collecting. It has connected collectors and dealers across continents. An auction house in California can sell a rare coin from the Delhi Sultanate to a buyer in Mumbai. A collector in a small town in Texas can discuss the finer points of Kushan coinage with an expert in Delhi on an online forum. This global network has made information more accessible and has brought many new and rare coins to light. The hunt for rare Indian coins is now a truly international pursuit, a shared passion that transcends borders and brings people together in their love for history. The journey of the Indian coin is a mirror to the journey of India itself. It is an unbroken chain stretching back over 2,600 years. No other country has such a long, continuous and diverse history of coinage. From the first crude punch-marked pieces of silver to the sophisticated coins of the modern Republic of India, the tradition has endured. It has survived the rise and fall of countless empires. It has absorbed influences from all over the world, from the Greeks, the Romans, the Persians, and the British. Yet, it has always remained distinctly Indian. This long story is not over. The coins of the past continue to shape our understanding of the present. They are primary sources of history, offering evidence where written texts are silent. They speak of forgotten kings, lost trade routes, and ancient beliefs. They are a testament to the incredible artistic and metallurgical skills of Indian craftsmen through the ages. The study of these coins is a living field, with new discoveries and new interpretations, constantly changing what we know about India's past. The whispers from these small metal discs are still being deciphered. Even today, in 2026, the coin holds a special place. In an age of digital transactions and credit cards, the physical coin still circulates. It is still a symbol of the state's authority and a unit of value in the marketplace. The designs on modern Indian coins continue to draw from the nation's deep history. We see the lions from Ashoka's pillar, a symbol that has been used for over 2,000 years. This continuity is powerful. It connects the daily commerce of today with the grand sweep of history. The coin in your pocket is the latest link in that very long, unbroken chain. Ultimately, The fascination with rare Indian coins is a fascination with the human story. Each coin is a survivor. It has witnessed history unfold. It has been held by people whose lives were so different from our own, yet who shared the same basic needs and desires. To hold one is to feel a connection, a sense of wonder at the vastness of time. It is a reminder that we are all part of a much larger narrative. The coins are the scattered words of that great story. And by collecting them and studying them, we can begin to piece it back together, one small metal fragment at a time.